Hello, I'm going to give you a quick demo of Anyconnect VPN using the native OS browser for authentication instead of the Anyconnect embedded browser for authentication. And then we're going to turn on or leverage Duo Passwordless authentication. So that means biometrics authentication. So let me go ahead and show you the user experience. So you can see here on my desktop, I have an Anyconnect client here. It's connecting to my Firepower appliance with my connection profile slash passwordless PWL. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit connect. And so it's starting the Anyconnect connection, and you'll see in a second here that it says go ahead and complete the authentication process in the browser window. So this is leveraging my native browser, my Chrome browser on my desktop, and as part of the single sign-on or passwordless technology, so it just remember my username Jerry at irvinesecurity.lab. That's fine, and I hit next, and now it's going to prompt me for authentication, but there's no password here because I'm using passwordless, meaning biometrics. So now it's asking me to look at my camera here on my laptop. Hit OK, and it's using Windows Hello for Business authentication, and it did a biometric scan of my face and it logged me in. So no passwords at all I have to type in. And now you can see that passed me through. My VPN connection is active now, established VPN. And then I got a message in the browser that shows Anyconnect Secure Mobility Client. I have successfully authenticated, and I can close this. Okay, so now let me just bring up my Anyconnect client one more time, show you that I am connected, and this is just the Anyconnect VPN statistics of my IP address and transmit bits and bytes, etc. So nothing unusual. So it's a VPN connection, done. So now let me log into my Duo portal to show you the authentication log. So let me go ahead and log in. I just logged into my admin panel in the back there, and let me just refresh. And now you can see here that if I go to authentication logs, there you go. So you see that there I am, Jerry. I just authenticated. Okay, and that's my application that I'm protecting is Firepower Threat Defense VPN for passwordless using my Windows 10 machine. And you can see here that it's showing me that the device health or doesn't know a bunch of stuff about my device because I'm not doing posture about my device. It's basically only knowing what the browser is reporting. And if I go to the single sign-on, but before I go further, you can see here on the right-hand side, platform authenticator is passwordless. If I go to single sign-on log, same thing. Single sign-on log just shows me that I authenticated against Active Directory because passwordless authentication is SAML going to the cloud, and then it's actually talking to my on-prem Active Directory domain controller as the passwordless authentication. So that's all looking good. And if I go to my users in the Duo portal, I go to Jerry here. You can see that down at the bottom, that's my activity logs. I just logged in. That's me. And you can see that I have, as part of the passwordless setup, I'm using Windows Hello. Okay, that's been registered. That's my WebAuthn ID from my laptop using passwordless to get set up with Duo here. Okay, so this is all looking good from an authentication log perspective. Let me get back to the Firepower defense for the Firepower folks. I'm logging into my Firepower Management Center. And here you go. You can see that I logged in around 3:16, just about 2-3 minutes ago. My identity that it discovered is Jerry, and it's using LDAP to authenticate against my domain controller. It's a VPN authentication. That's my IP address, and that's my username. Okay, so pretty simple there. And then from a Firepower management perspective, my VPN session. You can see here's my connection profile. I call it PWL, and I am doing Duo Passwordless. That's the single sign-on server that I configured, and it's actually SAML. So if I go to expand this, okay, if I go to AAA, you can see the authentication method is SAML. And then there's the authentication server that I defined for pointing to Duo SAML head in there. And then I have the default OS browser enabled. Okay. Now one more thing here. If I go back to my Duo portal, and you'll see that the application that I'm protecting, which is the Firepower application. Go to the Firepower application that I'm protecting, and I have my Firepower base URL here, Irvine DMZ, and then the connection profile configured in the FTD is PWL. That's the connection profile name. All right, hopefully that gives you a quick overview of the Anyconnect passwordless authentication with Duo, and I am running Firepower 4.10, excuse me, Anyconnect 4.10, 05085. That was just released at the beginning of March. All right, thanks for watching.